Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something really vital, but maybe often misunderstood, the world of nonprofit consulting. These are the navigators helping amazing organizations, well, amplify their mission and impact.
Yeah, the unsung heroes sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it like this. Imagine a nonprofit. Let's call them Hope Springs.
Right.
Passionate team, clear vision for their community.
Right.
But maybe they're struggling to translate that passion into, consistent, measurable impact. Maybe their strategy's a bit scattered.
Yeah, that happens.
Or funding is just this constant uphill battle, proving their good work is tough. And the leadership team, they're dedicated, sure, but maybe you could use some fine-tuning.
Okay.
So we're going to dive into how consultants act as these vital guides, helping organizations like Hope Springs sort of systematically overcome these kinds of hurdles.
That's right. And our mission for this deep dive is really to unpack the core ways consultants guide nonprofits. And we're basing this directly on the sources you shared. What's really interesting here, I think, is that this isn't just about applying, generic business strategies. It's very much about tailoring strategic action to maximize social good.
Social good, right.
Which, brings its own unique complexities and, frankly, challenges.
Absolutely. And to show you exactly how this works, we're going to explore 4 key areas, 4 places where nonprofit consultants make a real tangible difference.
Okay.
Strategic planning and organizational development. Then, fundraising strategy. After that, program evaluation and impact assessment.
Crucial.
And finally, board governance and leadership development. We'll try to reveal not just what they do, but why it's often so challenging, what actually makes a difference, and how each area helps nonprofits get more effective, more sustainable, and, well, ultimately more impactful.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, let's dive in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump right into that first one.
Yeah.
Strategic planning and organizational development. So for an organization like our Hope Springs example, they know their mission, but maybe feel a bit adrift. What's the fundamental challenge consultants address here? I mean, beyond just drawing up a plan.
That's a really crucial distinction. The biggest challenge often isn't defining the mission itself. Most nonprofits are passionate about their mission.
Right.
It's the brutal prioritization needed to actually achieve it. Strategic planning in this context is fundamentally about guiding them, helping define not just the vision and long-term goals, but developing concrete, actionable strategies.
Actionable.
Exactly. And the real insight, I think, from the sources is how consultants help organizations say no.
Saying no.
Yeah, saying no to good ideas, even to focus really intensely on the great ones. It's all about aligning every resource, every activity to maximize impact, and maybe even more importantly, ensuring they can sustain that good work over time.
Sustain it, yeah.
It's a challenging process, no doubt, often involves difficult trade-offs.
That makes perfect sense. Saying no can definitely be harder than saying yes, can it?
Yeah.
Especially when, every cause feels worthy. Our sources also mention capacity building initiatives. Now, for you listening, what does effective capacity building really look like in practice? I mean, beyond just a one-off training session, what are the common pitfalls there?
That's a great question, because capacity building gets thrown around a lot, and sometimes it's misunderstood.
Yeah.
It's not just about providing some specific support here and there. Yeah. It's really about strengthening an organization's internal capabilities. The stuff they need for sustained growth.
Internal, okay.
Yeah. A common pitfall is just treating it like a temporary fix, like a Band-Aid.
Right.
Truly effective capacity building, from a consultant's view, might involve implementing, say, new data analytics tools so they can better track their outcomes.
Okay, like tools.
Or maybe fostering a culture of continuous learning so knowledge gets institutionalized. For instance, I worked with a smaller advocacy group. They were really struggling to scale up. We didn't just train them on some new software. We actually helped them integrate it into their daily workflow. And we developed internal super users.
Champions inside.
Exactly. So the knowledge truly lived within the organization. It wasn't just some external add-on that disappears when the consultant leaves.
That's a fantastic example, really institutionalizing change. Okay, and what about change management consulting? Nonprofits, they often face external shifts, internal growth. How do consultants help them navigate those, turbulent waters?
Change management is just vital. Because nonprofits are constantly adapting, aren't they?
Constantly.
Whether it's navigating big shifts like a merger or an internal restructuring, maybe even a cultural transformation.
Right.
The consultant's role there is to make sure those transitions are as smooth as possible, minimize disruption, and align everything with the overall strategic goals.
Smooth transitions.
Yeah, it often involves engaging staff at all levels, helping them understand why the change is happening, and addressing potential resistance head on. It's really about leading people through uncertainty effectively.
That sounds incredibly important for any organization needing to adapt. Okay, so moving from planning and structure, once Hope Springs has that clear strategy, the immediate next question is always,
Money.
how do we pay for it?
Right.
Because even the most brilliant blueprint, well, it stays on the drawing board without resources.
Absolutely.
So let's dive into how consultants are helping with fundraising strategy, maybe even revolutionizing it.
Well, revolutionizing might be strong, but definitely refining it. Fundraising strategy and development consulting is absolutely critical. It's about optimizing a nonprofit's efforts to get the financial resources they need.
Optimizing efforts.
Yeah, to keep the mission alive. And it's far more than just, asking for money. It's about helping them diversify funding sources, engage donors more effectively,
Engage donor.
and ultimately maximize philanthropic support through, sophisticated long-term approaches.
I've heard the phrase donor stewardship used a lot. What does effective donor stewardship actually look like in practice?
Mhm.
And what are some common mistakes nonprofits make here?
Stewardship. That's where the art and the science really meet.
Okay.
Many nonprofits, they mistakenly think stewardship is just about sending thank you letters, which are important, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But a consultant helps design perhaps tiered donor stewardship programs that really cultivate and nurture those relationships long term.
Tiered programs, like different levels.
Exactly. So for instance, instead of just a generic annual report for everyone, a consultant might help Hope Springs implement a system where, say, their major donors get exclusive virtual program deep dives.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, maybe with beneficiaries, or even one-on-one calls with the CEO, something that fosters a true sense of partnership.
Yeah.
Direct impact.
Right. Partnership, not just a transaction.
Precisely. A common mistake is not personalizing communication enough, or failing to clearly show donors the direct impact of their specific contribution. People want to know where their money went and what it did.
That's a powerful shift from transactional to relational, definitely. And what about the corporate world? We often hear about companies partnering with causes. How do consultants help nonprofits navigate that complex landscape for things like corporate partnership development?
Right, corporate partnerships are getting increasingly sophisticated. Consultants can help nonprofits identify and, crucially, cultivate relationships with companies.
Cultivate.
And not just for one-off sponsorships, but for longer-term cause-related marketing initiatives, employee giving programs, other forms of corporate philanthropy that really align with the company's own values and CSR goals.
Finding that mutual benefit.
Exactly. It has to be about mutual benefit, not just a handout. And then, of course, a big specialized piece is grant writing and proposal development.
Grants.
Yeah. Consultants bring expertise in researching opportunities, crafting compelling narratives, and securing those grants from foundations, government agencies. It's about telling Hope Springs' story in a way that really resonates with the grant makers.
That sounds like a really comprehensive approach to securing the funds.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so let's say Hope Springs now has a clear path forward. They've got the resources coming in. The next critical hurdle is often proving that their journey, their work, is actually leading somewhere impactful.
Proving it, yeah.
This is where program evaluation and impact assessment become so valuable. Why is this area just so crucial for nonprofits? And what's often misunderstood about it?
Yeah, this area is absolutely vital. It involves rigorously assessing the effectiveness, the efficiency, and the real-world impact of a nonprofit's programs.
Rigorously.
Yes. A common misconception is that evaluation is just about, checking boxes for a funder, but it's really about deep learning. It helps them measure their outcomes, pinpoint areas where they can improve,
Learning and improving.
and ensure that precious resources are being allocated effectively. For example, for an environmental conservation program, a consultant might help evaluate not just how many trees were planted, but the survival rate of those trees. and their actual contribution to local biodiversity over time, that's the real impact.
Ah, the survival rate. That's a good point.
Or for a healthcare intervention, it's about whether a disease prevention program actually reduced incidence rates, not just how many people attended a workshop, you know.
Right. The outcome, not just the output.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond outputs to measurable outcomes and the actual difference made.
So it's not just about doing good work. It's about scientifically proving that the good is happening and learning how to do it even better.
Precisely.
Is there resistance sometimes to this kind of rigorous evaluation? Or are organizations typically eager for it?
Oh, there can certainly be resistance, definitely. Often it stems from a fear of what the evaluation might reveal.
Fear of failure.
Maybe, or just fear of finding out something isn't working as well as hoped. Or sometimes it's simply a lack of resources or expertise to do it properly.
Right.
And that's where the consultant really helps. They provide that objective, data-driven lens. You know, for a community development initiative, for instance, a consultant might assess not just the number of job training participants,
Okay.
but the long-term employment rates and maybe wage increases of those participants, linking it directly to poverty alleviation metrics.
Actual economic impact.
Yes. For arts and culture programs, it's measuring more than just attendance figures. It's assessing whether a program genuinely fostered social cohesion or increased cultural participation among underserved groups.
More than just counting heads.
Exactly. The focus is always on tangible, measurable outcomes, regardless of the specific field. And that can sometimes be a mindset shift for organizations primarily driven by passion.
That makes sense. Okay, that brings us to our final pillar. Board governance and leadership development. This sounds like the structural backbone, maybe? The guiding hand of the organization?
You could say that, yeah.
So for a nonprofit like Hope Springs, maybe they have dedicated board members, but what are the most common challenges consultants tackle in this specific area?
Well, the biggest challenge often isn't a lack of dedication. You find most board members are very dedicated.
Right.
It's often a lack of clarity. Clarity around roles, responsibilities, and strategic foresight. This area of consulting focuses on strengthening those governance structures and the leadership capability.
Structures and capability.
Yeah, of a nonprofit to enhance their overall effectiveness and, crucially, their accountability. It helps nonprofits build strong, diverse boards and develop essential leadership skills, both among board members and the senior staff.
Got it.
A really common issue is a board that's too operational, getting bogged down in day-to-day tasks.
In the weeds.
Exactly. Instead of focusing on the bigger picture, strategic oversight, fundraising, policy.
So it's about ensuring the people at the top are truly steering the ship effectively, not rowing.
That's a good way to put it, yes.
And our sources mention succession planning. What's a nuanced aspect of succession planning that nonprofits might often overlook?
Succession planning. Incredibly important and often put off. Many nonprofits think of it just for the CEO, the top spot.
Right, just the CEO.
But a consultant looks at it more holistically. Developing strategies for executive leadership succession, sure, but also broader leadership development initiatives, mentorship programs for emerging leaders throughout the organization.
Developing the pipeline.
Exactly. And a nuanced aspect that's often overlooked is the importance of a smooth leadership transition period. It's not just about finding the next person.
A handover.
Yes, it's about preserving institutional knowledge, maintaining momentum during that handover. For example, I remember a situation, a retiring founder left this huge void. We helped the board implement a phased transition plan. It involved the founder mentoring the new CEO for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
It made all the difference, really smoothed things over.
That really speaks to the human element involved, doesn't it? And what about board diversity and inclusion initiatives? That seems vital for an organization's health and future, but also, well, challenging to implement effectively.
It is challenging, absolutely. And it goes way beyond just, checking boxes on a form.
Right.
Consultants actively help promote diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI within the board and the leadership team. This involves things like targeted recruitment strategies, providing training on unconscious bias.
Unconscious bias, okay.
And critically, creating inclusive decision-making processes where diverse voices aren't just present at the table, but are truly heard and valued.
Heard and valued, yeah.
It's about building a board that genuinely reflects the community it serves. And that diversity, well, it almost always leads to richer insights and more effective strategies in the long run.
So, okay, we've covered a lot of ground. What does this all mean for you, our listener?
Yeah.
Today, we've pulled back the curtain on this often unseen yet absolutely critical world of nonprofit consulting.
Right.
We explored strategic planning, fundraising, program evaluation, and board governance. And I think it's clear how each of these pieces, when they're tackled with expert guidance, really contributes to a truly robust, impactful nonprofit, transforming that passionate vision into concrete action.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really reinforces the core message, doesn't it? That these consulting functions, they're all about making sure every single resource is allocated effectively.
Every dollar counts.
Every dollar, every hour, making sure every program actually achieves what it's set out to do. And helping organizations build those strong foundations for long-term success and, importantly, accountability.
Right.
It's really about translating the passion and the good intentions of organizations like our hypothetical Hope Springs into tangible, measurable good in the world.
Exactly. And maybe understanding these internal workings might just change the way you view and engage with the nonprofits you support.
Could do.
Perhaps it might even inspire new ways for you to contribute to a cause you really care about, now that you know how these strategic pieces kind of fit together to create lasting change.
Yeah, and maybe this raises an important question for you to consider, sort of a final thought. Imagine the collective power, the potential that could be unleashed if every nonprofit,
Every single one.
regardless of its size or its focus, operated with the kind of strategic clarity, the financial stability, the demonstrable impact, and the strong leadership that these consulting areas aim to foster.
Wow, yeah.
What kind of world would that actually create? And thinking about that, what role could you play in supporting that vision? Maybe it's volunteering your skills, maybe advocating for transparency, or maybe it's simply understanding the real strategic work that goes on behind the scenes, something to think about.